Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Collection Wars. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Gabriel.
Red 5 standing by. Hey, I know what everyone's thinking. I don't do this. This isn't me. It's not me. What's up, everybody? Michael here. Sorry we're a little bit late. It's been crazy, crazy week, right, Gabe?
Yeah, no, it's been crazy, and as you guys could tell, I'm actually not at home. I'm still in the Bay Area, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit as much as I can share. Oh
Okay.
man, what's up, Michael? How you been, man? I haven't talked
Good,
to
man.
you for a little while.
Yeah, I miss you, brother. Yeah, it's been crazy, crazy week over here. We a lot of little projects going on, and
Yeah,
just we've been just a lot going on, buddy. But yeah, man, it's so great. It's always good to be back with all our friends, and on a Saturday
yeah.
evening, they're hanging out. So
Absolutely. We got some people joining us here. Got Star Wars Corner Collector. Hey, how you doing? What's up, Troy?
hey
Dark
guys,
Knight. Good
hey,
evening.
there's Big Cat Pete. What's up, brother?
We got Juan. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about these road trips that we've taken the last week or so. How
Yes.
you
How you
doing,
doing?
Mr.
How you doing,
Santos?
Juan?
We got Paul. How you doing? Got Miss David. What's up? Pete. What's up? Mr. Lee, what is up, Lee?
Hey guys, what's up, Lee?
Yeah. So we got the buds all in here, all the buddies.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Oh, we got Irish Jedi excited
Yep.
to join you. Awesome. Yeah. I know sometimes people catch our stuff, after we record it. So it's always
Yeah.
fun to have everybody jump on. Oh, we got more. We got Scott in here. What's
Yes.
up, Scott? We got Chris. What's up?
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Gabe? We kicked 500 plus subscribers this week. We're over 500. Not bad for a couple months, brother.
Oh, yeah, nice. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for
Absolutely.
joining us, and hopefully, like I said, it kind of inspires us to keep on going and to do more of these shows. And I know we got a good lineup coming up. I know we've had a little scheduling issues, obviously, because we've been on the road and working on other little projects. But yeah, we should have a pretty good schedule lined up for
Oh
the
yeah.
next coming up ones.
Yeah.
So today I figured we'd just talk about some of the trips. I know, Michael, you took a very important road trip to go pick up your Star Destroyer, right?
Yeah, I told all the guys that were listening last weekend, and yeah, since then it's been crazy.
Yeah,
Sunday morning, and
yeah,
got to go and meet my buddy Mark. I hadn't seen in a couple of years, and then made the trip back and got to see Kurt
yeah.
in person, which was always a fantastic thing. But we'll go into that.
Yeah. We'll talk about all that, and then I took a trip up to the Bay Area because I was lucky enough to get a little invite to Skywalker Ranch. So we'll talk about briefly just what I can talk
Yeah.
about, and only because they did make me sign an NDA, so there's not a
So,
lot
so,
I
so
can
guys, sorry
yeah.
to cut you off, Gabe. We got to let them know that it's between Collection Wars and Lucasfilm right now. We can't really.
It works,
Just kidding,
we're
everybody.
working on something.
Just kidding.
But also, this episode, we're having our buddy Joseph joining us. I'm going to add him actually to the screen so he could say hi. And I know Joseph's actually also took a little road trip to the Star Wars store, which he'll explain. And it's kind of interesting. I was looking at the pictures. It's really an interesting store. Let's add him on here. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Oh,
Uh-oh.
I think I muted you. Sorry, there you go. You're back.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Joseph, what's up, brother?
It's
Good,
good to
Joe.
be back. It's good to be back. It's good to see you
And
guys.
that background's looking fuller and fuller.
Yeah, you can see the Rancor back there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice one.
And,
Cool.
I think Jabba was there the last time. So
Yeah.
I think it was already there. But awesome. Thank you for joining us, Joseph. That way
of course.
we can
Although
chat.
I'm not sure how I feel coming on here following I'm at Skywalker Ranch right now.
No, no. Oh, I mean, again, it's any Star Wars fan's dream. I know Michael's been there, right? Michael.
Yeah, yeah, I have. I've been there. It was easy getting in. It sucked how I left, but
You had a little trouble getting out. That was
yeah,
it.
I was trying to give Gabe before he went there. I was trying to tell him where to go, and he just wouldn't listen to me. I'm like, hey, when you're sitting down and you're doing your deal over there, when people start getting busy, you need to go over to this place. I couldn't get to that place. You need to do it, right?
I know, right?
But,
Awesome. Well, guys, yeah, let's just get started. Let's start with you, Michael. I know you, and I'm gonna put you on the hot seat here. Let me see. And I apologize ahead of time because I'm not on my normal computer, so it's a little harder to navigate stuff. So, yeah, Michael, you recently just took a long road trip, right?
Yeah, it was a long road trip, but it was really cool because my son Indiana's fixing to leave in a week to the Coast Guard. He's 22 years old. He's a little nervous, and so we were able to spend a little bit of time together on that trip, which was very rewarding for me because everyone's busy in their own schedules, and being able to just spend some one-on-one was really, really good. But yeah, but I'll let you guys know. So before we get started, Mark Elkins, who I went and picked up this superstructure Avenger Star Destroyer. He's actually just texted and said he's chimed in. So Mark, what's up, brother?
Oh, cool.
It's
That's
good to have him on.
awesome.
Yeah, and we're going to have Mark on soon.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this guy's an unbelievable, down to earth, cool dude. But as an artist, he can scratch build anything you ask him to. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, so it's been 2 years in the making. People who haven't seen a quick video that we did, Mark's been building for a couple of years now, 8-foot
Yeah.
Star Destroyer. And
Let me see if I can get.
yeah, sure.
I went a little ahead of there.
No, you're good. You're good. So this is the superstructure that Mark's done. He's worked really, really hard to get to this point. And so I was able to fly in and see Mark and hang out with him for a little bit and go over the details of what's needed still to complete this thing. And now we took that road trip. We were nervous as can be because between Mark and me, we didn't know if we were going to be able to find a vehicle that we could get this thing to fit in, that I could drive it back home. But it worked out perfect.
So, Michael, you're in Texas, and
Texas, yeah.
What state did you have to?
It was in Las Vegas.
So Nevada.
Nevada, yeah. So yeah, we flew in 6:00 in the morning on Sunday, and by 9:30 I was at Mark's house and hanging out with him. Now I could have stayed there all day long, but yeah. So that guy cost me a lot of money, Mark.
So I want to. You shot a little video, and I know you were telling me when you were going over there, you were really nervous about it actually fitting in the car, right? So what ended up happening? So what did you end up renting in order to fit?
So they said all they had was Expeditions, but I didn't realize they had some that were the length of like a normal Suburban. Mm-hmm. So I was able to point it out, and you should have seen it. I mean, I did get insurance on the car, just what I'm saying. But so the back of the car, the plastic, I'm gonna scratch to hell. But hey,
here.
So
this is you. Nice. Staying alive.
Look at that thing. It's in the console. That thing is from the back door to the.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
You like that, Joseph?
That made my day when I saw that video. I sent that to him, and he's like, "Yeah." My wife was just like, "What are you laughing about? You're laughing hysterically. What is it you're watching?"
That's hilarious. So, so Mike, as you were driving over there, you drove back to Texas, right? So you were able to kind of take a little detour, right?
Yeah. So I've been wanting to see my brother Kurt Kuhn for a long, long time. We've been meaning to get together, and finally made it happen. And he was nice enough to let me in his home, and his beautiful wife. They both were really, really sincere to me and my son, and we just hung out and talked about all the things that we want to do with studio scale models from here on out, where Modeler Magic was, and what the future holds for Modeler Magic, and a few other things. But it was just fantastic. I just seeing him, it's hard to explain. It's like seeing a long lost brother that you hadn't seen in years, So we just clicked right away. I just gave him a big hug as soon as I saw him.
So Michael, you've known Kurt for a little while, right? But have you met personally, or is this the first time you physically met?
Yeah, Gabe. So yeah, this was the first time. We've always wanted to, but the COVID crap, and me and him were like, you know what? Come see me. It's fine. We were still, keeping our distances and all, but I'm like, bro, let's just hug it out, but so this is the first time I've able to see him.
Which is kind of funny, because we've talked about that, right? Because a lot of us that are friends through collecting and through Star Wars, it's funny because I've never met Michael face to face. Everything's been online or over the phone. Joseph, I've met in person at Comic-Con, but it was really brief.
It was 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how that all just works out, right? It's like we have like the best virtual friends.
For sure. Yeah, I was having lunch today with somebody, and they were asking me how long I've known Gabe, and when I told them, they're like, "Whoa, I thought y'all have been like lifelong friends." And I'm like, it kind of seems it, but it's cool how it comes up. But.
Yeah, I know we've said this before on the channel. This is almost the best part of the hobby. Is meeting people that you get to share this connection with, and even though we're not in the same cities, it's amazing to be able to to share. I know I talk to Michael almost every day. I talk to my friend George at MC in Florida almost every day, and it's crazy.
Yeah, no, and it's also cool having all our buddies that were in constant communication join us kind of on the side, and we get to see the comments, and it's just such a fun experience,
For sure. So real quick before we jump in, so just since we're talking about the Star Destroyer, real quick. So the Star Destroyer's here. We're building a crate for it for phase 2, which is going to be the kit bashing process and the fiber optics. And what's awesome is that the gentleman that's working on it, that's taking over on the second phase, collaborates if necessary with Mark to go over all the details. And what was really, really cool is today, the gentleman who's going to be receiving this was sending me pictures of what came in today, which were a ton of, I should have sent them to you, Gabe, but a ton of kit bash models, from the 70s and whatnot. And I'm talking tons of old school models. And he's showing me there's this one, it was a semi truck, and he's telling me it's for the parts on this go around the exhaust engines, and I'm like, God, that's just, they know the details of this. Is amazing.
And realistically, like, we're not talking about like 1 or 2 or even 5 models. This thing is 8 feet. So you're getting a lot of parts to this, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's hundreds of model kits, and to be honest with you, to do it, I was talking to Mark about it, and Mike, who's going to be taking over. I was told you're about $20,000 in legit models to purchase to get back. If you want to, there's no possible way that anybody can do 100% accurate.
Right.
It's just not possible.
Right.
We're going to build this thing 95% kit bash and scratch built, as you can see right there. And all those, if you look at that, what you're looking at, all those separate bridges, they're wide open. The way he designed this, I said it in my video, and I'm saying this respectfully when I say that I believe when this thing is complete, it's going to be better than the original one, only because of some of the details I heard of how the original one was built. And the access that this one's going to have versus when it comes to lighting and stuff. But it's pretty neat. But it'll never be the original Star Wars, no way. But I'll tell you what, when you're just standing before that right there, it just does no justice in the picture how massive that thing is.
Yeah,
we're really fortunate that we're living in an era where you can 3D print replacement parts for things that you need. Because you're talking about kit bashing. A lot of those model kits where they took those parts, they're out of production, and if you want to find one, you're paying some of them. You're going to pay several $100s for, and that's just one kit. And, you're talking about hundreds of kits that you need, for all
that's
those
what I was
little
saying.
parts.
Yeah.
So,
that's what I was saying. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's true. And it's such a prestigious piece too, because you're going to be the only one essentially that has this, right?
That I know of. And you never know. There might be some other people, but I can just tell you, I'm blessed to know that I have this one here, and I'm going to be able to share it with all of the collectors out there, and the people that tune in. I love it. I've been it's really crazy how I've been in touch with literally, I can't even tell you how many when it comes to studio scale that are now into the hobby, and I've been able to, link people up, to whether they're purchasing or whether they need a builder, and it's really, really cool, and everyone's continuing to grow and
grow,
but this thing is not dying. I'll tell you what, the studio scale is waking up. It's been a sleeping monster. So,
and I think as people realize, especially people collecting replicas and stuff, realize that there is that need there's that, there's no company that's fulfilling that need for collectors. Right. People are going to start looking to do it themselves or to hire some awesome artists like you do. And they're beautiful, man.
Sure.
So definitely worth the road trip, right? Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, it was the adrenaline that kept me going. And then I shot that video right when I got back. And I don't drink Monster energy drinks, but you'd never know. You were laughing at me, Gabe, but I was like, we usually take like 3 to 5 takes when my buddy Nico's here. And man, I did it in one take, man. We got it done. Boom. He's like, okay, I guess that's going to be an easy edit.
You could see your enthusiasm in the video. I texted you, right? As soon as I watched the video, I was like, man, I could actually see like you literally, like you're glowing. You're like, oh my God, look at this. And you just So the drive back from Nevada to Texas, how long was that? How many hours would you say?
Because we did that night after I met with Kurt, we stopped at P.F. Chang's and chilled out, and it was a 30-minute wait, so I was in the back seat of the expedition just checking it out. but yeah, so
cozying
we left
up with it.
yes, exactly. So it was 6 a.m. that we left Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, we drove straight through, and we even ate in the car. So I got home a little after 10 o'clock that night. We were rolling. I was on average 95 miles an hour all the way. So
you said 10 o'clock that night, or what time?
Yeah, it seems like pretty quick. It really wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
So you're what, 15, 16 hours total, or what?
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
See, there's the difference between me and Michael. I don't know how he did that. If I had that in my car, I'd be driving 25 miles an hour down the freeway, with the hazard lights on.
When every little bump, but man, this thing's a real comfort. This is a brand new expedition. That thing was, that thing's heavy, and it can hold it. But the biggest thing now, the challenge is tomorrow when I build this huge crate for it, and it's going for the East Coast, So, and once they finish there, I'm going to determine, depending on how I build this crate, whether or not I'm going to fly up there. It's close to New York, and pick this thing up and drive it home. I'm not real sure yet what I'm going to do.
That would make sense after all that work, all that time and money. I don't think I would want to trust a shipping company with it.
I know.
Yeah, when people see fragile, that just pisses them off even more to do damage. So,
Michael, I don't know if we ever discussed this, but this might be of some interest to the viewers. That anytime you pack something like, not necessarily something this large, but for people who are packing statues and things like that, there is an item that you can buy. I think they carry it at FedEx. It's like a plastic bag, and it has a liquid in it. And there's a little tab inside that you break. And when you break it, the liquid turns into a foam and it expands. And then what happens is it stays kind of a liquid foam for, I can't remember how long. It's like 15, 20 minutes. And then it starts to solidify. And when it solidifies, it'll solidify in whatever shape or form you have it in. For people, for example, who, let's say, want to ship a statue or a model and they don't have, the original styrofoam for it or something like that, you can actually put that in a box, break it, and then form the foam, and then push the statue or whatever it is down into it, and it will form around the statue, just like the styrofoam was. And then it'll solidify, and then you put another one on top, break it, and then the foam will, form and solidify around the top part. And then you basically have a sandwich of foam that completely encases the, statue or the model with no pressure points.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it's very, very secure. So, I mean, I don't know how you're planning on crating that up. You're probably going to ship it as freight, but
yeah.
But if you have any, fragile areas like that, you may consider using something like that.
I appreciate that.
And Michael, Scott's asking, where are you going to put this thing once it's done? We talked about this too, man.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Scott. So actually, right where I'm sitting right now, I have a nice like sitting little chair. I've got a couple of them in here in the gallery. I think they're I don't know, maybe 5 foot by 3 foot chairs that you can sit on, where you can just sit and look around in the gallery. And man, I'm running out of room where I'm having to push those. So I am gonna, because we're getting ready to get Slave One, which we'll talk about, but we're gonna be doing that with a blue screen background, kind of giving people that do see it, I like that look of how blue screen and green screen was
kind of like how Kurt has them, right? Like
exactly right. Yeah. And that's actually where I got the idea from, was Kurt. And just how he does that exactly. So, but that's really cool. Thanks, Scott, for reaching out.
So that's a huge piece, right? And before we get to the Slave One, we joked around because you have another huge piece in there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we just set that bad boy up today. You like it, Joseph?
That's incredible. I mean, it's just so massive, and it towers over everything else in the room there. It's crazy.
It's bigger, believe it or not, it's bigger than Chewy. I mean, by like a foot. It's almost 9.5 feet tall. That picture does no justice. But so you see the antennas, there's like an inch left over. But I wasn't going to say anything about that. I didn't know that we were going to share that. Yeah, that one right there is, I mean, we still have some work to do on it, and I'm, Gabe, I want to get the plaque and stuff.
About, spacing and stuff. I wanted to show people, I mean, because sometimes it's hard to get a good sense of the scale of rooms and, things like that. And I think this picture shows it very well, because sometimes when you're sitting down low, your Death Star looks like, I mean, it's big, but once you see it compared to this thing, it's like, oh, okay, you could kind of understand the scale a little bit better.
Well, it's exactly. And I was going to say, if anybody there's a lot of friends of mine out there that watch the channel, and they just love the gallery, which is so awesome. But they look at they watch for the gallery a lot. But I want everybody to take a notice on you as well, Gabe. Joseph. Flip back to the other picture real quick. If you guys look and see the Death Star there, you'll see how me and Mike did that. So when you come into the gallery, it has that floating effect. But we didn't know if we were going to come off the wall, because I didn't want it to be on a stand or anything like that. So that's how we did that. We just did a little coming out of the bottom, and it's very much secured. And so it gives it that floating, we leveled it out. And isn't that a beautiful little centerpiece?
I had actually never seen that. Like, you've sent me pictures, but I hadn't really seen like a wider shot to really understand how it's being held up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works good.
I can only imagine the stress on that, on that pipe, because there's got to be quite a cantilever effect. Just
there's really not
from the back.
No, because you figure that's all plexi, and it's not a real heavy model. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's pipe. That's like water pipe. So
I wanted to mention. So Michael, you told me that room, your gallery, it's 3,000 square feet. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so just to give the viewers an idea, for those of you who tuned in when we did my room tour, and I know a lot of people thought that was pretty massive.
It is massive.
My room is 600 square feet. Your gallery is 5 times the size of my room here.
Yeah,
just to give people an idea.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, but when you're putting, what the deal is with what I do, which creates a problem, but I love them so much. Like with the Rancor, I like dioramas. I love, like a lot of people out there, they like dioramas. But when I do like the Sandcrawler diorama, That's a 5 foot, Joseph, 5 foot by 5 foot space alone, just for the little small sand crawler, and once you start doing all those dioramas, you start eating up a lot of space, so.
Well,
I think no matter how, go ahead.
Your trench run is huge, right? It's 20, how big?
So the trench is 16 feet long.
Yeah.
And it's 6 feet wide.
But I guess that's also another word to our viewers, right? It's no matter how small or how big your space is, the problem we all face is you end up running out of space and trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, because it's like, we talk about collection wars. We're going to have a special show during the week that talks about our insanity. You know what I mean? Because
well, didn't I tell you the other day, Michael? I think we all need to join Collectors Anonymous.
Yes. Yesterday put me into. I don't know if my wife's watching right now, so we won't talk about it, but I'm going to just tell you right now that we need to, Michael needs to slow down. I got so many
needs to slow down. I'm going to have to be the intervention person. Like,
I need it. I need it.
All right, so let's get back to our topic here. So, I just really quick, Michael, do you want to talk about your Slave One really quick, or?
Yeah, a lot of people know that it's in the works. This is a piece I've been waiting on for a long time, and it's the big thing about this is they're just you can't get them. Joseph will be the first to tell you. Joseph, what do you? I would have sent you, by the way, Joseph, some pictures of this, but every time I do, you say you've already seen them even before I've seen them. What's up with that? Hey, Gabe. Gabe, listen. Joseph sees my pictures before I do. You know what I mean? What's up with that? So, but all kidding aside, though, today a lot got done. I don't know if you saw any of those, Joseph, but I'll tell you what. He should be wrapping up on that thing, believe it or not, tomorrow. But if you guys can scroll and see what's involved and the amount of different color textures and the techniques that are into it, it's amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, in all fairness, I mean, the reason that I see these things, because I'm also working with someone to build one, and so it's, but the problem is that it's a very difficult kit. I mean, for those people out there who have never dealt with a garage kit like this, that for which there isn't a model kit or an instruction manual, you end up opening a box filled with hundreds of parts with no instructions. You have no idea where anything goes unless you are an expert on the Slave One and know where every little greebly goes, and you'll be lost. I mean, I opened up, I look at those parts and it's just like, this is from a tank and this is from a plane, and where in the hell do these things go? And I have no idea, and they don't fit together like a model kit. There is no fitting it together, right? The pieces are just kind of floating, and you just have to figure out a way to attach them to each other.
And a lot of people don't know, Joseph, that these studio kits, they don't come with instructions.
Right.
So
So if it wasn't for your friend, who you connected me with, who's building this for you, I would be completely lost. So.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
He's great.
So the thing is, for the mold,
great.
Yeah. So the molds are destroyed pretty much. They're done. So if you can find one out there, just the kit alone is going now, even from when Joseph purchased his. I mean, just the actual kit. You if you can find one for around $3,000, you're doing pretty good.
You're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So look, road trip. You got your Star Destroyer. It's well worth it. Let's move on to another road trip. Joseph, I want to talk because you sent me some pictures of a really cool store.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Let me bring that up.
Yeah. So this is actually, it's not quite a road trip, but because it's not far, it's about half an hour from where we live. There's a store called the Star Wars store. It is not. It's really interesting because it's not sanctioned. It's not a Disney store. It's not a Lucasfilm store, right? This guy opened the store. It's called the Star Wars. But take a look closely. look at the words. It's Star War Store.
Mm.
So there's a
Right.
little play there, right?
Yeah, that's cool though.
But I think he's had some issues with Lucasfilm in the past, and I think there have probably been several lawsuits. And anyway, but he opened up this place, and it is filled to the brim with, you know, the Kenner pieces, vintage pieces. He's got master replicas pieces there that are not for sale, but, you know, they're all over the store, decorating the store. And it's pretty incredible. The selection is huge, and, you know, he has access to, you know, a lot of the people at Hasbro and things like that. They, you know, so he gets, for example, when they did the Katana, you know, the Jabba sail barge. I don't know how many of those he bought, but he had them in his store, and, you know, for sale, he was reselling them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's pretty amazing place, but it's just fun that you go in there and you see all these vintage pieces, you know, from like when we were kids, and they're all on the shelves, like, you know, like they're new pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What those posters, those backlit posters are really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So those are just, I mean, it's like you know, like a display. They're basically it's a sheet of plastic. The poster is translucent. It's on there, and then they have, you know, fluorescent lights behind them that light them up. So they're pretty incredible.
So I could definitely see the sideshow pieces, but
right,
that doesn't look like the sideshow R2. That looks like a built one, right?
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. I didn't pay too much attention. I don't think that's the sideshow one, though. It's
no.
And hey, and Joseph, David's asking, where is this at?
So this is at a place called Washington Square Mall in Portland. It's just outside of Portland, Oregon. Well, it's in Portland, Oregon, I guess, the Portland metropolitan area. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So let me go back, because I totally missed this question. The EFX was promoting a Slave One. Whatever happened to that? I don't. And do you guys know?
Yeah. So okay. So the Slave One that everyone kept seeing displayed at Comic-Con every year at the EFX booth, and the one that you know, Adam Savage's YouTube channel tested. The guy Norm Chan, who does a lot of the interviews and stuff for that channel, he always interviews the guys over at EFX. You know, they display that, but that model it doesn't belong to EFX. It wasn't something EFX was producing. They put it on display there with the idea that at some point they were going to mass produce a Slave One model, just like they had done with the Red 5 and with the TIE Fighter. And then, you know, they got out of the mass-produced model business, EFX did, and then they offered their Star Destroyer model, but that one was one that was being built, you know, basically built to order. So you order it, and then an artisan builds it for you, and then sells it through EFX. But the Slave One, that is a project that they said was going to go. It was going to go just like the Red 5 and the TIE Fighter, right? It was going to go to China, get patterned, get mass produced, painted there, and sold at a relatively, you know, reasonably priced item, you know, like the TIE Fighter and X-Wing were when they came out. But the problem is that the development of something like that and manufacturing over there now, especially with all the tariffs, you know, since the last administration, it's become not only cost prohibitive, but, you know, it's very difficult to manage something like that. Yeah. Who knows if that'll ever happen? You know, they said they were going to do a Y-Wing and the Slave One and a Star Destroyer. You know, the Star Destroyer was supposed to be one that was done like that, right? Mass produced, but none of those things ever happened.
You just never know, though. You know, like they put out the melted helmet. I did not expect that. I was not expecting them to do it. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see.
I know that the studio ships. I'll be way shocked, you know, because I know who's making those. So for them, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you never. But like you said, Gabe, we'll
leave it at that, just because there's a lot of I know.
Yeah.
They don't want their names out there, right, for certain things.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
So So this is still in the store, right, Joseph?
That's in the store. So you have a Hasbro Falcon there, and then that's the Jango Fett blasters from Master Replicas. And he's got a lot of displays, vintage stuff. He's got some dioramas there. I don't know if I sent you any pictures of the dioramas where there's a one scene where there's the shuttle, and then like 100 stormtroopers all lined up. And I'm not sure if I got a picture of that.
You might have sent it to me before. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I did. And then these are Master Replicas pieces. At least the clone trooper.
Yeah, the clone trooper. And then that's the EFX.
That's the EFX one. And then I think the one on the top is an EFX Vader, the precision cast.
It might be
or is it a Black Series?
It might be a Master Replicas, because look at the.
Oh, really?
You know how it has that little red.
It is a Revenge of the Sith.
Right, the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, he picked up a lot when Master Replicas went out of business. He told me he went with a truck and he paid them a bunch of money and emptied out their warehouse, kind of thing. I don't know.
Smart.
I don't know what the truth is to that, but what truth there is.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a couple of the Gentle Giant busts, right?
Yep. Yeah. That is Michael, do you have those?
I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to, I love the Macquarie concept pieces, right? And I have, you guys saw, I have the statues from Sideshow, and I have some of the helmets from Armory Shop Props. And the more, I look at that stuff, the more I really, I wish I had some more Ralph McQuarrie concept pieces.
Yeah.
I saw today on Facebook, someone had, or maybe it was RPF, someone had a Ralph McQuarrie concept C-3PO. The one that almost looks like Maria from Metropolis.
Metropolis.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, if I can butt in real quick, Joseph, I can't really discuss it right this show, but on that subject, our next show, I've got some really exciting, cool stuff to show you guys.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Sneak peek at
pretty cool.
Next week.
Yeah.
So they got a bunch of Black Series stuff, right? Oh, I see.
Yeah. There's the sail barge.
Just such a cool store. It's a cool store because it focuses on Star Wars, and it's rare to see that. You go to comic stores, you go to these stores, and they have a bunch of different stuff, but I like that. Like they have some He-Man stuff.
Yeah, they have a lot of other vintage toys there. They have some G.I. Joe stuff, and
So now, Joseph, you also been unpacking some stuff, right, in your collection.
Right.
So for anybody who hasn't seen Joseph's episode where we introduce his collection room, that Joseph is still in the process of kind of getting everything displayed, and he's still working on his room. So slowly but surely, as he's unpacking some of these things, he'll share some pictures with us, and we'd love to share just a couple of them, because I know you've unboxed a few things, but
So when we spoke, to the viewers, Gabe was like, "What have you gotten since we last talked?" So this is a combination of things that I've either received or recently unpacked, and I just sent him a bunch of pictures the other night. And so this is a statue from Sideshow Collectibles. That's the Mythos Darth Maul, which is just an incredible piece. I mean, it's still available. I think they have a really high edition number. Yeah. So if anyone's interested, I think they're still available, but it's absolutely beautiful.
Are they quarter scale or third scale?
It's quarter scale.
Quarter scale.
Yeah.
Now what is this?
So this is a lightsaber made by Lux Sabers in France, and it is the Ventress saber. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a backstory. Ventress, apparently this is a lightsaber that I should know the mythology behind it all, but I don't. But this is, I guess, one that was lost. And then,
do you, Michael?
I'm sorry?
Do you even know who that character? I honestly don't really even know too much about
Ventress is a character from she's in the animated, series, the Clone Wars. And I believe this is a lightsaber that she had early on, lost, and then was found by Darth Maul. But anyway, I just love the look of the piece. I thought it was just a fantastic design, with all the, the exhaust holes on the side, and it's a yellow Saber. And this one is actually built, this is installed, so it actually has a yellow blade.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then you also unpacked your Hot Toys, right?
Yes. So this is the Hot Toys DeLorean. This is before any of the parts get added. So it comes with all of the, the metal mesh that goes all the way around the perimeter of the car, but all of it's all photo etched. It's very delicate. So it all comes separate, and then you have to attach it on.
That thing is beautiful.
It is. It's an incredible piece, and it lights up. The headlights light up. The interior lights up. The flux capacitor flashes in the inside the car.
It's huge. That thing is huge.
It is. It's 1/6 scale. It's 1/6 scale. So it's a big piece. That's about a little under 3 feet.
So I remember coming across this, and it was like $7.99 or something. And I was like, I'm gonna get it. Like even though it's huge, I'm gonna buy it. But then at Comic-Con one year, they showed the part 2 one, right? And I was just like, oh, forget the first one. Now I'm gonna wait for the other one. And then turns out Sideshow kind of flaked on that, right?
It was Hot Toys.
I mean, Hot Toys. Sorry.
Yeah. So they have this. They have a habit of doing this. They show these pieces, at the cons to impress everyone, and it draws a lot of attention. Like they did the 1/6 scale Falcon cockpit one year. That wasn't a Jazz Inc. original idea. That was something that was teased by Hot Toys and then never got made. And so it's the same thing. They teased a Back to the Future 2 flying DeLorean, and they never made it. So, but this, I was so excited. I took the pictures. All the plastic is still on the, on the windows and everything. So it looks very different when it's, when it's fully assembled.
Yeah.
But it is beautiful. It's a beautiful piece.
Irish Jedi actually says that Darth Maul is 1/5 scale. I've never heard of it.
Is it?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, the Mythos. Yeah, sorry. The Mythos line is, it's 1/5 scale. It's not 1/4 scale.
Small.
Yeah, sorry. So it's a little smaller. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Joseph, Juan's asking, do you have the figures, the Hot Toys figures?
I do. I have the original Marty McFly that they made from Back to the Future 1, which I plan to display in the famous movie poster pose, right, where he's sitting in the car and looking at his watch and the doors open.
That's cool.
And then I also have the 2 figures that they made for Back to the Future 2, which is the Marty McFly and the Doc Brown in his future outfit with the yellow jacket and the red shirt and the silver.
That's
which
cool.
I actually forgot to send you a picture of. I actually got the silver aluminum visor that he's wearing, and it's in the collection.
Next time. We got enough to talk about this time.
Yeah.
So that is the Sideshow Dewback in the back, and then the one in front is a custom blurg.
Nice.
That thing's so cool.
Made. Yeah, it's a cool piece, huh?
It's a guy in China, right?
Yeah, in I can't remember if it's Malaysia or Singapore or Thailand. I have to go back and check, but yeah, it was a custom run, and I got in on it, and he sent it out. And it's 1/6 scale, so I'm gonna put my Mando on there eventually. Yeah,
and then I'm gonna skip that one because I know everyone wants to know about that one.
Oh,
I'm gonna skip. I'll go back, but so you finally got the Rancor set up.
Yeah, so that one from Regal Robot is just incredible. I absolutely love it. Every detail. It's just it's such a beautiful piece. The only issue that I have with it is the drool, because it's made from silicone. It's a little stiff. It doesn't hang completely straight up and down, which for liquid that's dripping should be totally gravity dependent and should be straight up and down, realistically. So I'm still working on.
I'm sorry, Joseph. I thought you were just excited when you got the.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. All right, that was not.
Try and keep it PG, Michael.
So
yeah. Now that you said that, Tom, no one will ever be able to unsee that.
About that, he gave you a little tip on it.
Well, Tom only said to try and push it, bend it, a little beyond, bend it the direction that you want it to go and a little beyond, and then hold it there. Well, I did that several times. I tried it for a minute or two, and then it just kind of went back.
Yeah.
And I really don't know what the next step is, because I'm not about to take a heat gun or anything like that to it, at fear of damaging it. Yeah. So I've just kind of left it. It looks fine. I mean, it's not that bad.
I'm sure over time, gravity itself will kind of, as it expands. Although your room might be, is it kind of temperature control? You have it.
It is. It's cool. Yeah, I keep it at exactly 70 degrees. So it's. So I have a friend who worked on Star Wars episodes 2 and 3. So nice. he worked at ILM.
Yeah.
And he worked on those movies. And I sent him a picture of that, and he told me, he goes, "Oh, if I were you, I would just cut it off."
No. You're like, oh, no, I'm not gonna.
No, that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna do
that. Cool. Well, let me just skip through really quick, and you got
okay.
So we kind of got a sneak peek of this one when we had you on, right?
Yeah, that's from War Machine Paintball. That's Jyn Erso's gun from Rogue One, and then that's from the same company. That's the Mando blaster.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And that's beautiful. I don't know if you have a shot. I did a couple of close-ups, but that actually is all metal, and it has blued steel on it. It's just beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't have them on because the problem is that I had to send them from my phone to this.
Oh, okay.
So because I'm not on my normal computer.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go through, and then this one, right? That's the
So this piece is obviously it's Rey's gun from Rise of Sky, or from Force Awakens, and this is actually all metal. It was a kit that I purchased from Solo's Hold, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. You can't get them anymore, but it's all metal. And then I sent the kit to a friend, Scott Juarez, Crucible Custom Props, and he built it up. He's done many of them, so they're it was easy for him to do. It's absolutely beautiful.
Now these, I ordered these because you convinced me to found them.
Yeah,
I like these. Michael,
they're incredible. They're absolute spot on replica.
Yeah.
To the ones used. The real ones are at the Smithsonian.
Right.
But they are exact right down to the sequins stitched into the shoe. And it comes in, by the way, in a shoebox labeled 5C. I mean, Judy Garland's feet were really tiny.
Those are Padme's shoes?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Yes.
So I unpacked
little did you know the Emperor is actually wearing those underneath his
What, Joseph?
His Gucci red shoes. So I had unpacked that, and I had it sitting on the sofa downstairs, and I had left it there until I figured out where I was going to put it in the movie room. And my wife, I guess, came downstairs while I was at work. And when I came home, she was like, at first, she was like, "Whose red shoes are those?" And she's like, "Since when do you have Wizard of Oz shoe? Like, when did you get those?"
That's funny. Yeah, I got the medal, the medallion, the Lions medallion, but these had been sold out on Sideshow, so I had to get them on that website from Australia.
Yeah, pop culture. I think
this is really cool. I like the way it's engraved on there too.
Yeah, so that's Jyn Erso's kyber crystal that she wears in Rogue One, and it's beautiful replica. Yeah.
So this one's for Michael. I know you wanted to show him because I know you wanted to add one of these to your collection, right, Michael?
Yeah, Michael, where's he going? He's done
with this conversation.
Does he even know?
I'm just kidding, Joseph. I'm just kidding.
So here's a prime example of Star Wars has a bunch of guns and lightsabers. Star Trek, you're dealing with musical instruments.
Yeah. So this is for any of you who are Star Trek fans, right? This is from Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's Captain Picard's Respican flute.
Wait, but does he actually?
Michael, are you okay there?
Is there a scene where he actually plays this? Tell me there is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I sent you a video. I don't know, but if there's a video when you hit the box actually has a speaker in it, and you can hit a button and it plays the tune that he plays in Star Trek. So, okay, so for Michael, I'll just give the backstory, right? So
I can see Joseph down on his couch when nobody's around.
No, it doesn't play. It doesn't play. So,
okay.
So in the episode that this is from, there's a probe there. So they're on a mission. They encounter this probe. The probe scans the captain, and he passes out. And he wakes up on this planet, and he's the husband to this, woman, and the father to this child. And he has no idea where he is. He's like, I'm Captain Picard, right? But they're telling him he's someone else, and he lives an entire life on this planet. And then when he dies, he wakes up and he's on the bridge of the Enterprise, just waking up from having passed out from the probe. And the probe was actually sent out by this culture whose planet was doomed. Their their sun was going to go nova. And the way that they decided the best way to try and preserve the memory of their culture was to send out this probe that when it encountered someone, it would put them into a coma and allow them in the course of a few minutes to live out an entire life on their planet and learn the culture, learn the language. And one of the things that he learns when he's, experiencing this is he learns how to play this flute. And when he wakes up from the probe beams over, there's a flute in the probe. That is the flute that he learned how to play.
Joseph, that backstory is really cool, but the song that I'm gonna play better match the coolness. It better not be like a little like elf sounding sound here, Joseph.
It's actually it's a real tune. I think it's an Irish.
I figured. Let's play it.
Okay.
Michael. Michael, you're insulting our Star Trek fans. Stop laughing at this Star Trek stuff.
By the way, Michael, just so you know, that was composed by John Williams.
I don't know if you could sell it enough, Joseph. I don't think you could sell it.
That only has meaning to people who really love Star Trek, I think. It's a relatively obscure prop.
There's a couple of people
who said that
you just insulted Juan. Juan's a Trekkie.
See that?
Goodness.
Sorry. Hey, let me tell you guys something. I'll keep aside. No, I'm serious. I mean, hey, don't put me on the big screen, dude. I'm rolling in tears. I love the old Star Trek from the late 60s, 70s. I love that. And I do like for Star Trek, J.J. Abrams, for Star Trek, for J.J. Abrams, for Star Trek, he did a damn good job. I think that, the characters, I love the Captain Kirk, I think it was, good. But hey, so what else are we going to talk about?
I'm just letting Michael dig that hole a little deeper. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and let Michael keep talking there.
That was Joseph. All right, we're gonna skip around because we're already at the hour. But this bad boy. Let's get back to some cool.
Yeah.
Some cool
so who recognizes this? I mean, I'm sure you guys know what it is now. But this is Luke Skywalker's grappling hook from A New Hope, right? When he pulls out the hook, cool. Swings it, cool. And then he and Leia, swing across the anyway. So there's a little story behind this. This is a full metal replica. It's actually functioning. It's spring loaded, and it's absolutely great. But when I was a child, I was totally fascinated by the grappling hook, by the hook and the whole concept. And I used to take nails and go to the garage and like hammer them and bend them into L shapes, and then tape them and tie them together and make my own grappling hook. And it's a wonder I didn't kill myself as a child using this thing. But I could never actually get it to like swing over something and then hook it on itself like he does in the movie. So I thank God I never was successful, because I know I would have died doing it. But yeah, so when I saw that, that's made by a guy on Etsy from the UK.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick one of these up. I love it. It's like one of those kind of weird pieces that you really don't think about,
Right.
but it's a very important piece, especially when you watch the documentaries and stuff, and because of the low budget at that point where they had already run out of money, they just made Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher do their own stunts. They're like, you can do it.
It's okay. It's okay. You guys aren't famous. If you get hurt, it's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, that thing is beautiful. I definitely am thinking about picking one of those up.
So actually, he has some great props on his website. If you know, and then there were a couple of other pieces. I don't know how much you got on there, but
I grabbed a couple of them.
Okay.
You got like some of the like this one
comic statues. Those are So that's a Sideshow Harley Quinn that just came out. That's the next one I think that you're going to click on is Black Manta from Prime One Studios.
No, very cool.
Yeah. And then
MCE is chimed in now. Hey, what's up?
Hey, George.
Yeah.
Yep.
George.
Yeah.
All right.
He's the one that we have to have on to talk about all those statues.
Yeah.
He's a big Star Wars fan.
And let's say hey to
big time Star Wars collector.
Yeah, no, I watch his channel and he does his unboxings. I'm like, man, there's so many cool things that I wish I could just. Again, goes back to space, right? I wish I had space for it. That's the place.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Joseph. I know.
Yeah, of course.
Today we're just kind of it's more of a fun show because just hanging out.
We need to hear the best. You saved the best for last. We want to hear about your road trip.
Absolutely.
My road trip. So So without getting, obviously I can't get into too many details on it. They do make you sign an NDA, so you can't really take pictures, can't share pictures. But there are a couple little things where, when, especially the person that was giving us the tour was like, yeah, you could post, the Yoda statue and things like that. So I'll show you guys a couple things. But so I found out on, I want to say Tuesday, that we got invited, right? So got invited, and immediately I was like, oh my God, like, wait, when is this? And they're like, on Friday. So Friday, I'm like, so you gotta keep in mind, I'm in Southern California. Skywalker Ranch is a little bit north of San Francisco, right? Like the Bay Area. So for me, that's a 8-hour drive, right? Not only that, but I told my wife, I was like, look, we're going. Like, there's no way I'm not gonna go to this. Like, so it's either I'm gonna go on my own or we're all just gonna take a road trip and go up there. So we had a couple days to kind of just immediately, figure things out, obviously work situation, right? We have work, we had to get coverage, we had to get the days off. And we literally just packed the car with my kids, my mother-in-law, because we needed someone to watch the kids while we were there. And we just drove. And we drove up on Thursday afternoon. We got here probably around like Friday at like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Just, went to sleep. And the next day we woke up and got to go to Skywalker Ranch. So it is by invitation only. You have to get invited. Either
that's your opinion,
unless you're Michael.
Unless you're Michael, then who needs an invitation, right? And I do have a couple of little videos I can show you guys.
So Gabe, I have to interrupt you because I don't know if you know this, but Michael and I were talking about this, and we had agreed that we were going to convince you to not take your wife, and then Michael and I were going to be your significant other, and we're going to rotate in and out of Skywalker Ranch with you.
That might have worked. Just tell everyone, be like, no, sorry, it's boys trip. Boys trip now. So let me share. So I had the video of us coming up to, like, because I gotta remember, and me and Michael were talking about this before I get to this. So it's a very narrow road, right? Once you start going up there, it's literally just two ways, right? One way up, one way down, and you could literally miss it when you're on that road, because it's just a very small entrance, and you just see the number 3838, and then you see it on both sides. So as we're driving, Michael texts me, and he's like, hey man, like, are you there, right? Because I shoot him a picture of the 3838, and he's like, oh, you're coming from the west side. I was like, no, it's actually, we missed the turn, and we had to do this like crazy sharp U-turn to get there. But eventually, we pull up, and I think I could show you guys that. Yeah, I'll pull it up right now.
I love how Michael knows exactly, like he's already cased the whole
I know area, exactly right? Where he's at. I know the whole
we pull up, and at first it's a little like, oh man, like, do we have to push the button and then they're gonna let us in the initial? And the door's open. I was like, okay, we're in. We go in, and then eventually the security, you get to the security guard, and they ask for your name, they ask for kind of what your business is, what you're doing there. And the coolest thing was just being like, giving him my last name, like, oh yeah, Gabe Estrada, yep, gotcha. I was like, oh man, that feeling was just amazing, So let me sorry. Here.
It's okay.
I know. Let me pull this up.
Did you tell him I said hello?
I didn't tell him you said hello. Because I didn't want them to be like, oh, you're part of that criminal breaking into our location. So this is the entrance, and this is where as I was driving up, we totally missed it. So we had to kind of come back and do that. And the coolest part is, once we got there, our hub, kind of like the place where we landed, it's called the Summit. And it's kind of like the old animation studios and Skywalker Sound. So that's where they all, but when Disney took over it, they pretty much kind of dismantled it. A lot of people got fired, and then now it's just kind of a event center. And that's kind of where they hold events. But they were giving us some crazy cool history about that. They gave us a tour of the property. We couldn't go into a lot of the buildings, obviously, because of, number one, because of COVID. Number two, because of the type of event that we were there for. But the coolest thing, let me see if I can pull up this video. So as soon as we park, so when we park and we start walking towards this, and this is the first thing that I got to see. Watch. So as we're walking in, let me press play here. So there's the Yoda statue. And the cool thing about the Yoda statue is that there's actually 6 of them total around, just in different locations. Obviously, the Presidio has one right where ILM is. They have one where the fountain is. There's this one. There's another one a little bit more north that I guess George Lucas lived there, and he came up with the idea for Indiana Jones while he was living in there. I forgot what the little town was called, but he did a little community center park where there's another Yoda, and there's the only Indiana Jones statue kind of in existence. And yeah, so there's a total of 6 of these Yoda statues, and that's that one.
One's been stolen before from Lucasfilm. Do you hear about that?
The ILM
stolen?
one?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So this is me. And like I said, as soon as we got there, that's kind of the first thing. They're like, well, you're not allowed to, to take pictures once you're in the buildings. But out here you could take pictures and you could share those. I was like, all right, cool. So that's me hanging out with the Yoda. I took a couple of pictures of it up close.
And that's bronze, people, if they don't know. It's made out of bronze.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's really cool because I've gone to the ILM one a couple of times, and the ILM one looks more bronzy than this one. This one looks painted, and you could kind of see you could see the tint, the green tint.
I was gonna say, did they make the head out of copper? Because when copper patinas, it turns that minty, blue-green color.
Yeah.
It might have been. I didn't ask. But you could see right there
a hole.
What does it say? The plaque on there, the Noble Studios. But yeah, so again, without going into too much of the stuff, and again, there's really not much, as far as pictures I could really share with you guys. But it was really cool because we got to see, we got the art gallery, and the art gallery that we got to go into is where the Norman Rockwells are, and essentially it's the whole gallery that's featured in the book Visions. So there's a book called Visions that they published, and essentially George Lucas just gave a bunch of artists free range on, do whatever with my characters, and just some amazing pieces that we got to see. I guess, without disclosing a lot of stuff, I saw some screen use stuff that was just like, oh man, the little details. And again, I got obsessed because they're still doing the tour and they're still talking about it. And I'm over here just staring at one piece. And I'm just I probably look like a weirdo because the whole group is separated. And I'm just staring at this one screen use piece going around. The other thing, the whole place is just covered with just old posters and old movie posters, part of George's collection. And what's funny also too, just like ILM, and if you've gone to ILM, right when you go into the main the lobby, they have a lot of master replica stuff on display. Well, funny enough, at Skywalker Ranch, they also had a lot of master replica stuff, probably just as placeholders. Obviously, they're not going to put a lot of the real stuff out there. And then what they did tell me, because the first question I asked the tour guide person, I was like, hey, what about the archives? What's going on with the archives? They're like, I was just hoping. I even showed her a picture of my collection room. I'm like, look, I'm a big Star Wars fan, in hopes that she'd be like, oh my God, let's go over there, but nah, that didn't happen. So what she did inform me is that the archives were essentially closed right now to the public. A lot of it is getting kind of wrapped up and boxed up because it's the LA museum is finishing up at USC. I guess George Lucas and USC partnered up, and they're doing that big museum. And a lot of that original stuff is going to go over there. So
is that museum? What is it? The Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, right?
Right.
And I think
it was a $3 billion build or something. It was amazing.
So what they're telling us that they ran into a lot of issues. So the first one was going to be in Chicago. Then they ran into some issues building it there. So then they ended up moving it back to California, and even then they ran into a lot of other issues just with the building, just because of the space. Until finally USC kind of reached out to Lucas and was like, "Just sign here. We give you the property. Here's the place. You build it."
Yeah, that was the issue, wasn't it? There were all these people didn't want the museum around. They didn't want them to use property in various locations, and I couldn't figure out why. It's who doesn't want a big, beautiful museum in their area?
Yeah, one part I think it was just it had to do with some frogs and some species that were, you know what I mean, like some habitat that they couldn't get rid of. So it's just kind of interesting, learning about the history. Obviously with the tour guide, they talked about the history of all the buildings and the history of some of the pieces that were in there. So it was just, as a Star Wars fan, it was just mind blowing just being there, right? Like just knowing about it, realizing it. And then the cool thing is they had a little gift shop at the end. So I got a cool little swag, and I got some swag for my buddies. So, we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch.
Oh,
so
nice. Wait, that doesn't say on the back, and I didn't get arrested, does it?
Right? We went to Skywalker Ranch. And all I got was this sweat.
I'm sorry, Michael. I give you a hard time about that.
Yeah, you're good, buddy.
I should have asked them at the gate. I should have been like, "Do you guys have like a little picture of like, look out for be on the lookout for these people?" Like Michael's face is on there.
Hey, so everybody that's watching, so actually where Gabe went to that building, I'm proud to say this, I was arrested right in front of that building on the very bottom where the sidewalk is, surrounded by nothing but a bunch of grapes and beautiful country. It's so beautiful there. It's just an unbelievable place. Hey, Gabe, so when you finally took a left on Lucas Valley Road, which has nothing to do with Lucas, well, I thought for sure it's Lucas Valley Road, because it's not. But it just so happened to be Lucas Valley Road. That probably made him buy the property. But so when you're going up there, it's so beautiful. The trees, it's just amazing.
Oh, and it's so calm, it's so serene. Like everything is just so peaceful there. And that was the one thing I expected it to be kind of like, loud, people moving around a bunch. No, it was just nice and quiet. Everything was just peaceful. And again, when they're talking about the way they constructed Skywalker Ranch, is they essentially, because it was such a big property, the city, what is it, Nicasio, California, they had an issue because it was such a large property and it was going to be gated and it was going to be sealed off. So they're like, you can't really have that many. And they have a little hotel, and they have places where the artists, sleep and stay overnight. So they have to have their own fire station. So, they have their fire station. And the cool thing about their fire station is that they're not just exclusive to Skywalker Ranch. They actually go and they helped out with like the Santa Barbara fires when they happened. So they're first responders for that whole city too. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, they were first responders to me as well. Every the fire trucks, I can tell you every single one of them showed up.
So Juan says, how did the invitation come about? Yeah. So I have a family member that works for the corporation. So that's kind of how the invitation came out. But essentially that's how. So without getting again into more of that. Yeah. I mean that's pretty much it. I wish I know it seems so like whatever, I can't really share much. I just can't publicly share some of the stuff I saw. But just know if you ever get an opportunity, absolutely drive the 8 hours like I did. Yeah. Don't do it Michael's way. Do it the right way.
But at least you'll get to see more.
This isn't legal advice, by the way. But I would recommend you doing it the right way. But yeah, no, it was just such a cool moment, and just it's really cool to be able to share with with my family, my wife, and I think it was just more of them watching me geek out like over everything, and me talking to all the employees that I would see, like any little employee, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, check out my collection." Like I'm telling you, I was on a mission. I was on a mission for somebody to be like, "Come on, let me sneak you into the archives."
Wow.
Didn't happen. So, but like I said, I did see a lot of cool stuff, some studio scale stuff that's really, really interesting stuff. So, but yeah, that's about it. And we're still up here. We're still in the Bay Area for the weekend. That's why I don't have, my room. So tomorrow we might make might take a little small trip to ILM just so I can go take a picture with the fountain. Just hang out before we drive back. Because that's a rough drive.
Yeah,
that would be incredible. When you go to ILM, can you enter, or is there an area where you can take tours, or
I don't know,
is it all open to the?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you can walk in, you can enter, but now with the COVID thing, it's totally different now. But they don't do tours though.
Yeah,
it's got to be invited.
You have to get invited. Yeah, it's another one of those things where like somebody that works there needs to invite you, and they'll do a tour, but you got to have someone on the inside to do it.
Are you guys familiar with? I think his name's John Knoll.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of the special effects guys at ILM, and he worked on, I think, on Rogue One, but he's been with them for forever. I read a story about him. He's one of these guys that's just, he's brilliant, right? I mean, he was working at ILM, and then in his off time, he and his brother developed a little software program called Photoshop. You may have heard of it. Yeah, like on the side, that was their side project.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I was reading an article about him, about how he got involved in this, and it was he used to like build models and stuff in back east, and he wrote to them and was interested in a job back in the day when you would write letters, and apparently he sounded like an adult model maker in the letters, so I think it was Dennis Murin, or I can't remember who the contact was, but they basically said, "Oh, well, when you're in the area, come by and we'd love to see some of your work, and we'll show you around ILM and whatnot." And he was like 14 years old.
Yeah.
So his parents took a trip, and he went with them, and he ended up taking like a cab or something to ILM and knocked on the door, and they're like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm John Knoll. I was the one that wrote the letters," and they're like. They're like, "You're just some kid, right? Come back in 5 years when you're an adult."
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But see, you never know. That's why Michael's story about that, it's it might sound maybe these days like, oh man, like who do that? But I mean, obviously, like it happens, right? Like that's before internet, before all that stuff, like. Why wouldn't you go directly to the business that you want to work for and say, "Hey, I want to work for you guys"? Like,
that was my mission, and it's worked for me before. I got it. I've snuck on a lot of lots and stuff when I was living in California. I used to sneak on Lorimar Studios, which was MGM at the time before it got bought out by Sony. I used to sneak on the set, and I got to know the security guards there. I was all by myself living up there. And it was on Ventura Boulevard, or excuse me, in Bagley over there where MGM was. But it was cool being able to, they'd let me in, and that's where I got to work on arachnophobia and, all kinds of really cool. I got some cool stories we'll talk about one night, and how I got to actually work on arachnophobia because, I snuck in, but it of course didn't work with Skywalker Ranch, but
no. But I mean, it worked in the past on other ones. I mean,
hey, sometimes that assertiveness gets you places.
That's right.
Yeah.
Spielberg did it. He used to sneak on Universal. Yeah, he used to take up his own office. I don't know how, I bet it's hard whenever that time period was, like Gabe was saying. I mean, back when I did it, when the second time I went back, and the ranch manager came up, and I was like wanting to bawl in tears when I was heading back to the airport. I had to let them know I wasn't insane, but they brought up that there was some people out there that have threatened the life of George Lucas, and it has to be taken seriously, and you need to come do it the right way and whatnot, and so.
Well, look, we got Graham says it's definitely worth a try. It's when he went, some guys at lunch snuck him in a place we were supposed to. That was literally my goal. I actually saw there's a guy that was
so cool.
Yeah, there's a guy going to the lunch area because he actually had his lunch in his hand, and he saw me just like staring at this prop. It's a screen use prop, and I was just like in awe, just like going around it. And he came up and he was just like, "Oh, like check this out." And he started talking to me about it, and so immediately I started talking Star Wars to him, and again, the first chance I got, I was like, yeah, like I'm a big Star Wars fan. Check out my collection, just because I wanted him to like realize like how big of a fan. And he's like, oh yeah, and then he kind of did, but he was just more like, check this out, and he like kind of moved me to another area, and he just started talking about this other piece. But I was hoping, I was like, man, if he just come on, let's go over here. Let me show you this place over here.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's really neat.
But yeah, it was definitely a great time, great experience.
Yeah,
like I said, I dropped quite a bit of money at that gift store. Just, I was like, when am I ever gonna take it all? Let's just take it all. Take it all.
Were they like Disneyland prices or what?
The what?
Was it like Disneyland prices?
Yeah, no, a lot of it. It's funny because they have a couple of areas, like they have the clothing, and they have just the little gifts like knickknacks. And they have the wine because they have their own winery there. They have meats there. They sell meat because I guess they have their own like meat company as well too that they make there. But it's funny, in a little section they actually had some of like the Black Series lightsabers. But you know what they had? They had the Anovo's Darth Vader helmet. And they had it in stock. And I was just like, yeah, because I saw it and I recognized it. And I was like, oh, that's funny that they have it. I thought it was just like on display just for show, And then I asked the gift shop person, I was like, are you guys selling that? They're like, yeah, I think we have one or two left. I was like, oh, do you know who makes it? Like, yeah, it's Anovo's. I was like, oh, there you go. Now we know where they went.
Yeah. Well, those must be whatever was left from the manufacturing that was done in China, because they're not making them here. No. Now that they're manufacturing stuff at a facility in Texas. I don't think they've made any of that stuff again here.
Yeah, it's probably their old stock that they had.
Yeah. Are those valuable right now?
I've seen one I have one that I'm planning to sell. I've seen one on eBay from I think it was like $1,800 someone wanted for it.
Yeah, I've seen them kind of fluctuate. Yeah, like 1,000 to.
Did you price it, Gabe?
They had it at retail. It was like $799 or whatever.
Oh, $799.
Yeah. It was a regular. I even thought about it. I was like, yeah, should I just buy it and then just somebody that's been wanting one, should I just get it? But I was like, no, because again, our car was just packed full of the kids and my mother and all that.
Gabe, you could leave the kids there. Come on, priorities.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, no, that like Graham says, yeah, that gift shop is dangerous. Absolutely, it absolutely is. After we were done there, I was just like, it's crazy, because even just you pick up some things like a book and you're like, oh, this is a really nice book, and you look at it, it's like $500. Whoa, let me think about this book. But they just have a lot of cool little things.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. What an incredible.
Hey, so Irish Jedi asked about if anybody's been to the Steve Sansweet's museum.
Has anybody been?
I've never been.
No,
I met Steve. I met him at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Rancho Obi-Wan. But I've never been to his place, but I met him through some of my friends who are friends with him.
Don Post called me yesterday, and he had told me when he closed the business, I don't know all the details, but a lot of that stuff they wanted to throw out, and Don made sure Steve got a lot of that. But he told me that he bought an old chicken farm and turned all those warehouse, the barns or whatever, into the museum. I definitely want to take a trip. Andy Gutierrez, beautiful girl that runs the Star Wars show. said that if I was ever out in that area, I could, she'd give me an invite. I don't know if I ever told you, Gabe, but when the Star Wars show first started, they had this they were talking about, your first toy, your first Star Wars toy. Mm-hmm. And she said, I remember having this little Taco Bell Yoda, and it was I don't know whatever happened to it, but it was my favorite thing. So I sent it to her. And when I did that, ever since then, we kicked it off, and she's sitting, we keep in touch. When we started the gallery, she's seen photos of the gallery, and I was given an invite to Lucasfilm anytime I was, in that area. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity to go see Steve and look at his collection as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll check out the website. I might, maybe if it's open tomorrow, maybe I'll just swing by on our way before we go home. Because like I said, we're right here. We're in the Oakland side, so on the other side.
I think you would enjoy that more than just going and seeing the outside of Lucasfilm. If it's available, I would see if you can pull that off.
Yeah, that's why I was saying. Yeah, if they're doing live tours. Yeah,
I mean that's a collector's paradise right there. I mean, he basically he's like the Smithsonian of Star Wars collections, right? He's got one of everything.
Yeah, he has the Guinness World Record, right?
Yeah,
collectibles. Pretty cool.
Now.
Yeah.
No.
Did you say for now, Michael?
Yeah, no, I didn't say. Don't get me.
For now,
Michael's got big plans.
I always
Joseph unboxes everything he has.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. No. Well, the thing about my collection that's so daunting is that, if this whole room was just Star Wars stuff, it would be really nice because I'd have a lot more room. But really, all my Star Wars stuff is relegated to just this kind of enclave here because there's so much other, so many other.
Being the broad, the variety of all the different, licensed collectibles that you have, it's crazy. Yeah, I go crazy with my Star Wars and my Terminator. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think once the studio scale ships are out, that's going to be that's going to be mind blowing because there's so many of them, and they're going to be, and it's not just Star Wars, right? I have a lot of Star Trek pieces that are just, I love them.
Why are you gonna open up that can again, Joseph? Come on.
My water's empty. Don't get me going again, please.
Oh, geez.
The flute thing that was hilarious.
Well, not just that, not just Star Trek, right? But from I have pieces from Marvel and the Orville and and actually I'm working with a friend locally right now to build a Max. I don't know if you guys recall. Did you ever see the movie Flight of the Navigator?
Yeah.
So you remember the Max, the ship, the silver? Yeah. We're working on building one of those.
Or what is? How big? The suits are huge, right?
Okay, so the one that was the studio piece was massive. It was like, I don't know, it's like 12, 13 feet. Right. I mean, it's a huge piece, and it's really unfortunate because it ended up in one of the Disney parks, just left outside, and now I think it's completely gone. But that was actually one of the first uses of CGI in film, and it's really held up well, believe it or not, when you look at it. But anyway, the one we're making is about 18 inches long. Okay. But because of the shape, it's actually pretty voluminous, right? When you even 18 inches long, it's big and round. Looks like a big Mylar balloon. That's cool. And once it's done, we're going to try and make how it changes shape during the film and becomes long, elongates to fly quickly. So we're going to do that one next. So it's all 3D printed and then, and then finished. So
Irish Jedi asking if Joseph has some Indiana. I know Michael has some Indiana Jones pieces.
Yes,
Joseph,
so I do. I have a lot of the props. So I have a golden idol. I have a bullwhip, and I have the staff of Rawhead piece, and then I have a cup, the chalice.
Oh, that's cool.
And that one is actually, so the one that I have is actually pulled off of from a mold that was made that was cast off of the original piece.
The original one, yeah.
And
cool.
then it was done in exactly the same way with the clay and the gold leaf, and it was weathered. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. If you contact me on Instagram, I'll send you some pictures of the pieces.
Yeah.
And I just recently got off of somebody off the RPF a Grail diary that is just incredible. And it's completely I mean, it's full.
Yeah,
You open it, every page has maps and the fold outs, and it's just a beautiful piece.
Man,
and then of course the fedora.
Yeah. And then
and a Hot Toys figure of Indiana Jones.
Nice.
So.
And then Michael, you got all the right? You got a bunch of Indiana Jones stuff too, right?
Yeah, I got about 90% of the vintage. There's a couple little things I still need to get that I used to have at one time, but yeah, it's weird. Lately, I've been getting. I've got a Battlestar Galactica thing going on. When I was visiting Mark, picking up the Star Destroyer, he was telling me that, believe it or not, his favorite movie was Battlestar Galactica. And during the times I love Battlestar Galactica. I love the story. I have the series. I bought all those, but I've been collecting all the vintage action figures and the sets, and I just ordered just last night the old toy that with the firing missile that choked the kid and killed the girl with the Boba Fett. I just ordered one of those last night, a really good one. But yeah, like $6 million man. I like all those, but I just and all kidding aside, Gabe, I Joseph knows, but I really truly do like the old Star Trek. I don't watch any of the new ones. I don't. But
Michael, I mean, here's the thing: everybody loves something different, right?
That's right.
We talked about Battlestar Galactica the other day, and I was telling you about the new Battlestar Galactica, right? That ran in the early 2000s. That was on the Sci-Fi Channel. I honestly think it's one of the best written sci-fi programs ever. It's an incredible show.
Yeah.
But then you were saying, but I really love the old one, even though when we watch it now, it's so cheesy, right? It's so ridiculous. But when you're a child and that's what captivates you and you have your nostalgia, about it, it's there's no getting around that.
Yeah. So my one thing that I want is a life-size Cylon Raider. I love those Cylons. Wow. Those Cylons.
There are a couple of people who make those. You should be able to get one.
If you can find me a legit one, let me know. I did reach out to some guy that I thought, but I never heard back from him. But we're going to do a show with Mark Elkins. When I was up there, he said that he'd love to join us. Everybody that's chiming in will love Mark. This is a guy I'm telling you that can scratch anything. And he has a studio Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. And this thing's like, I don't know, 6.5. I don't know, maybe I might be wrong, but it's at least 6 feet long. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
And that thing that's the one thing in his collection he said he'd never get rid of, because I love that piece. But
it's amazing some of those studio pieces, how big they are. So I just learned this recently. I don't know if you guys saw 2001, A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick's film from 1967. So the ship Discovery, the really long one with the big sphere in the front.
I mean,
you know how big the studio model was for that ship?
Which one?
The Discovery. It's the one with the big sphere in the front, and then it has all the cargo pieces, and it's really long. That ship was 52 feet long. The studio model was 52 feet long.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so unfortunate that most of that stuff was destroyed after the movie was made. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, no, well, it was definitely a fun time getting, caught up. All our little adventures we've had in the last couple of weeks. We are reaching the 2-hour mark almost.
Oh,
so
wow.
I know, it just goes by so fast, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks to everyone who's still with us.
For sure. For sure. And it's cool because our audience, man, I'm recognizing all these guys that are coming back, and it's really cool. And, to Juan, I mean, that was like our first Gabe, right? I mean, that guy, I don't think's missed an episode,
Thank you, Juan.
Yeah, for sure. So, but we got some really, really cool future episodes, really good content. And the gentleman who mentioned right now, David, that you like Battlestar Galactica, the gentleman that we're getting ready to do a deal on, it should be next week airing. Michael Planty, he has got an unbelievable studio collection. Joseph knows him.
That guy's unreal. That collection is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got a really, really nice collection. He's right next to Kuhn. He doesn't have near the amount of models, but he's got like the only models of these certain things, like some Scream used stuff. And Mark actually, who did my 8-foot, built his 6-foot Star Destroyer, which is that's his favorite piece. So.
And I wanted to keep this a secret, but while I was at Skywalker Ranch, I bumped into someone very important and is going to join us. It's the keeper of the gift shop. Decided to not George Lucas, not George Lucas.
George Lucas is with me.
But we definitely got a couple of exciting episodes.
Lee, gotta put that up on the next read. No more flutes.
Oh my God!
Although we are going to show what is that? A harp?
I'm making. Here's the thing, Gabe. I think I sent you like 3 or 4 props from Star Trek, and you showed the flute. Like instead of showing the phasers, something that Michael would like, right? I got the flute in there.
You got it. You gotta cater to Michael. It's rare that we get him to crack up like this. So you gotta do it.
Oh yeah, next time I'm on here, I'm gonna play that flute just for you.
Oh man.
Yeah, we gotta invite David eventually with that Muppets. I definitely want to see that Muppet.
Oh.
That would be cool.
David, we'll reach out to you.
No more flutes. That's hilarious.
No more flutes.
I mean, the guys that what's so cool is how our conversations and what we talk about, and everybody that's chiming in, they're just like us. They're cool as crap. I mean, they're just awesome. Damn.
Yeah, I know but you definitely are. We got a couple of Star Trek fans on there, so you're not alone, Joseph. You're not alone. Don't worry.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well,
okay.
I'm gonna go have some dinner, and it was great catching up with everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. I really had a lot of fun today. Joseph, any last words?
I just want to thank you guys again for having me on. It's always great to, it's like we're having a phone conversation, except my wife doesn't get on my case about this because I'm on YouTube now. But it's great to join you, and I'm so thrilled for you that you got that opportunity to go to Skywalker Ranch. And Michael, I know I give you such a hard time about that getting arrested and all that.
That's
but
all right.
In reality, I would love to do the exact same thing if I had the balls to do it, but I don't.
I appreciate it.
But I'm very excited for what you guys have coming, and the Michael Plante. If you can have Mark Elkins on, I'm a huge fan of his work. He's awesome model maker. So that'll be great.
Cool.
Well, thanks,
Michael,
guys.
any last words, Michael?
First off, Joseph, it's always good. You're a super classy friend, and thank you for being on our show, Collection Wars. And for sure, to all the guys and gals, on a Saturday evening, again, I say it every time, for spending your time with us is awesome. And thanks so much for all the subscriptions. We get a lot of subscribers, man, and it's continuing to grow, and it's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we got one final.
What's that?
Wait, look at here. Friends, thank you so much. May the force be with you, and live long and prosper. I think that's a perfect segue. That's a perfect segue to end the show.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Irish. He was Irish Jedi's been on a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I remember
I've been in touch with them too on social media.
Awesome.
Really. All right, guys. Well,
thank you.
Until we see each other next week. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, brother. Take care.